Okay, hi lovely people. Welcome to today's episode. We are going live today, and today, as you've all seen, you've all noticed, we are going to talk about the USMLE pathway. And I haven't gone through the pathway most of the times when I haven't done something yet, even though I can bring you the research. But if I have a very good resource, if I have a connected person who has done it, I just deem it fit to be able to bring the person on, and the person will talk from experience. That is what sets my channel apart from a lot of channels. This is a very practical channel. We talk about practical challenges, how people who have gone through them solve them, and how you could do too. My name is Dr. Rich Lavenbro, as you know, and I have been your girl, and I am your Study Abroad plug. And today I have the honor, the utmost honor, to host Sylvia. Or say a
Hi.
Hi,
Yep.
Sylvia.
Hi,
Okay.
Rachel.
Yes. So if you are joining us now, just let us know. You join, let us know. And afterwards, this will also be recorded and saved. So you can go and watch this on YouTube as well. Okay. So before I even start, I just want to tell you guys that I'll be doing a live F1 question and answer series the whole of next week from Monday to Friday. Make sure you don't miss it. Look out for it. And so thank you all for coming. Now, Sylvia.
Hi.
Before we start, let me say something special about Sylvia. I've had the opportunity to be in a high school with Sylvia. We both attended St. Rose's Senior High School. And then we both attended KNUST. We're both in medical school together. So it should tell you. And then somehow, we've both found ourselves in the United States of America, right?
Yeah.
All right. So now, Sylvia, I'm going to stop doing the talking and you're going to do all the talking. All I have to do is to ask you questions. Now, to start with, just tell us a little about your background. I've said only two things that I know about you, but tell us about your background and a little about how you found yourself or you ventured into the medical space.
Okay. I'm a Ghanaian. So most of you know me as, or some people know me as Eno Krantima. I grew up in Ghana, everything medical school Ghana, completed St. Rose's Senior High School, and then I got done with medical school and did my house job in 37, La General and Achimota. So that's where I got my training. Then afterwards, I did my MOship in Kolibu at the ENT department. Then I moved to the US. Coming into medicine, well, growing up, I never thought, or I didn't think I would be a lawyer, a doctor in like primary or GHS. I was so sure I'd be a lawyer, so sure. And so in St. Rose's, I was in the Writers and Debating Society. But at a point, I didn't think I was a good judge of character to be able to like defend maybe some particular people, yeah. And so I found myself drawn towards psychology, clinical psychology to be precise. And so in asking questions, I knew a doctor who was a clinical psychologist. Like, okay, cool. Then I entered medicine with the mindset of becoming a clinical psychologist. But life happens and I still do the psychology or the counseling bits of the things I love to do. And that's how I got into internal medicine. Oh, yeah. But I didn't set out from the onset to be a doctor.
Okay. All right. So that is actually right. Some of us still have those stories. We never said, oh, we are going to be doctors, but we ended up being doctors some way, somehow. And so this is touching. And about the St. Rose's part, girl, she's an activist. She's like somebody who can go all out there. I remember she was such an activist for us that it landed her in trouble, but she will still not give up. She's so relentless. I remember that. And we love you for that. Thank you so much for that. We love you for that. Yeah. So now let's talk about the pathway. What informed your decision to relocate to the United States? Like, I think we all have our stories, but then tell us about it. What informed the decision? Or at what point did you feel like you would want to, practice here? Did you always have that idea? Did you always want to? What happened? Talk to us.
Okay. It started as, I think during house job first year, there was a time I would say that I felt like I'm someone who needs to be challenged. And sometimes if things are a little smooth, I feel like I may not give off my best. I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. So I thought that maybe training outside Ghana will give me the complete exposure. Because even though we are doing amazing things in Ghana, we sort of are lag behind sometimes in some technology. Like we know them in books, we know them theoretically, but I wanted the experience of having seen as much as I can. And so that was like my initial motivation to start the journey. And I think I
Wow.
missed one question. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
And
that's
specifically
that's mhm. Specifically the USMLE. Why did you choose the US, not UK, not why did you choose US?
well, so I still toying with the decision. Initially, I was thinking Germany. That was because my then boyfriend was in Germany. I started the language like I don't know. But UK, I'd never been drawn to the UK, was just preference. So I then started researching on the US, and that's how come I landed here.
Okay. The other thing is there are so many ways in which there are so many pathways that you could have used. Why did you use the USMLE pathway?
As in pathways to practice or pathways to come to the US.
Pathways to come to the US. Yeah, pathways to come to the US.
Okay, so to be very fair, after starting the USMLE journey, I thought of MPH. I actually applied, and at the last minute, things didn't go as they should. And so I just came back to the USMLE pathway, and then that was it. So that's
Okay.
been my journey. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if you are watching us, just let us know. Just leave a comment. And then if you have any questions, just leave it in the comment section below. And if you happen to watch this after we've gone live, leave your questions in the comments section, and then we'll be there to actually reply and respond to all these ones. And then if you haven't even subscribed to the channel, I don't know why you're coming to enjoy all this just without subscribing to the channel. Please hit the subscribe button while you're here. And we are now going to go into the actual tea, okay? Now tell us step by step. I've promised my subscribers and my viewers a detailed USMLE pathway. So tell us, where does it start from? Or where did you start from? Did you start from Ghana? Are there some exams you can take in Ghana? Are there some that you have to compulsorily take here? I know nothing about it. So guys, I'm as naive as you guys are. So I'm going to ask class 1 questions so that we could all understand. So that if this is your pathway, this is the pathway you want to use, it will be easier for you. Over to you. I'm done talking.
Okay. And so for me, I would say that the USMLE journey actually starts in the mind. That's where you conceive it. And if you truly want to go ahead with the journey, you don't need to let it remain in the mind, else it all becomes like a desire or a passion, like a smoldering wick. It never becomes a fire. So it starts in the mind, that you make the decision. So you need to get to the point of making the decision and then start. So that's my mind started in like maybe 2018. And so you can imagine. And then, so there are exams, like
2018.
actually started. I'm telling you, like that's when I was toying with the idea. Like you are not sure, you are sure.
Wow.
You get the point. And so I'll shift a bit from my journey and give you like the breakdown, and I'll tie it in with my journey. So for the exam, it's United States Medical Licensing Exam. So the whole exam licenses you to be able to practice in the US. And they are in 3 steps. 1, step 2, clinical knowledge, and step 3. Step 2 used to be step 2, clinical skills, and then step 2, clinical knowledge. But post-COVID, because step 2 clinical CS, step 2 CS needed to have been written in the US. However, during COVID, people were unable to travel, and also it was scrapped. And then the OET, that's the occupational English test, is what has now come to replace the step 2 CS, as in for we the international medical graduates. Step 1, you can take it, and step 2 CK, you can take them in Ghana. And then step 3, compulsorily in the US. Okay. And that's just about the whole exam. For each step,
Wow.
there are writing materials or they are learning materials. And you need to, for step 1, I'll just go straight into the learning materials, or you want me to?
Yes, go into it. Spill all the tea, nitty gritty. Yeah.
I will give you the course involved. But the point is, don't let the course deter you if you want to write. I never had the kind of money I'm going to mention when I started. But one thing I would say is, when you make up your mind to do something, the universe conspires to help you. And Rich Lab's channel is a
you are
testament
in
to
my head. I keep telling my people that all the time. Forget about the cost. You don't even know where the money is going to come from. Wow. We are thinking alike. I mean, wow.
Exactly. So with the step 1, for the materials, we have first aid. We always say that first aid is the Bible of the USMLE. That's the book that you use. They usually review it every year, and so that's first aid. Then we have UWorld. UWorld is a question bank. Depending on the amount or the time frame you buy, the prices differ. And then you need to use Pathoma for pathology to help you. And then there are bots and beyond videos for the pathophysiology or physiology aspect. So these are the core things you need. Some call them UFAP, UWorld, First Aid, Pathoma, and then the bots and beyond. So this is the core for almost all the steps. Coming down to the cost. When you start, you need to get certified by, your identification needs to be certified by the Education Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates. And that's $160. The price was reviewed, I think, last year or last 2 years. For step 1, if you are writing it in Ghana or outside the US, it's $1,200. The extra $200 is the out-of-continent surcharge fee. And that's the exam. Don't let it scare you. I know the dollar.
Okay, wait.
The dollar.
Please don't go too fast. Some of us, we are not very familiar with the pathway. So you are saying if you are writing the step 1 outside of Ghana, it's $1,200.
Outside the US, it's $1,200.
Outside the US, sorry. Outside the US, that's $1,200.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's go on.
And step 1 is a pass or fail exam. So prior to 2022, step 1 was scored. So you needed to write and study enough to get your practice test will give you an idea of the scores. And so step 1 was a numeric value, but now it's pass and fail. So once you hit the passing score, that's I think 196, you can take the exam. Then once you are done with step 1, you can go on to step 2. Step 2 is also taken in Ghana. Same charge, $1,200.
Okay, so the 196 is 196 over what? Out of what?
You don't know. I
don't know. There was 196. Okay.
Yeah, but then it's not. So in your practice test, when you begin to get passing score, you see the P, you know that you are good to go, and then you take the exam. But one of the days, if you get 250 in step 1, you know that it's a very high score too. But I don't know if anybody knows the actual highest score or what's over. You can tell me, but as of now, I don't know.
Okay, all right.
And then we move on to step 2. Step 2 usually.
Okay. So before we move to step 2, I'm coming. Before we move to step 2, so guys, this is what I have understood about step 1. Sylvia, if I say anything that I'm lying or I didn't hear right, you could just come in and correct me. So guys, she's saying that you can start the step 1 in Ghana. That's so good. I mean, you guys have a very good pathway. So you can start in Ghana. And even before that, there's one thing she said that I have taken so strongly to my heart. She says The whole journey starts from your mind, your brain. Those of you who just joined us, thank you so much for joining us. We are increasing in number. Thank you. And she says the pathway starts from your brain. And she started hers about 2018. She was contemplating. And guys, look, we are in 2024 and she's matched and she's working wonderfully. Now, she's saying that the part one can be taken in Ghana. The cost is $1,200. Even prior to that, you need to do a certification. You know, they need to know that, yes, you're a doctor. No, but it's not like everybody will stand up and they'll say, I'm going to write USMLE. So that's $160. So $160, that's aside. Then the step one is $1,200. You can take it outside the United States. You need to get a score of, is it 167, right?
No. It's a passing score, so it's just a pass.
It was 167, but now it's a pass and fail. 197. Okay, 196, but now it's a pass and fail, which is relatively good or relatively better. So that's the summary about part one, right?
Yeah. So one thing I need to throw out there is the question banks are not free. But if you know how to get a free one, that's up to you. UWell course. Okay. And then, but it's a learning tool. Take it as though it's a learning tool. When you start a UWell question bank, your scores would make you think that you are the dumbest person. But trust me, we've all been there. So UWell, you can subscribe for 3 months. You can subscribe for 6 months and subscribe for a year. I'd always recommend to people that subscribe for a year. Because the difference between the months and then the 1 year, I think, is about $100. But if you buy the 6 months and you're unable to write the exam within the 6 months, and you now have to renew, you're going to spend more money. So I think it's about, let's see, it's $559 for the 1 year, and for the 6 months, it's about $459, I believe. And so just imagine when you are renewing it, you have to pay an extra $300 or $400 just to renew. It's because you were not able to study within the 6 months. However, if you bought it in the 1 year, you would have saved about $200 or $300 more. So you buy the UWell, and then when you are getting ready to write the exam, you take the practice tests. UWell comes with 2 practice tests, and so you can use that. And some people add the NBME, which also practice test, and one practice test costs $60. And so that's for step one.
Wow. I totally agree with you that are there group discounts? I
think so. I know that sometimes, especially with those in the medical school in the US, and they come together and then buy together and get group discount. But in Ghana, you really don't know who is writing. Everybody's writing, but you don't know who is writing. So you got to ask someone.
Like I'm right. Oh gosh, my people. But I mean, it's totally understandable. It is like it's totally understandable. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now we are done with step one. We've written it in Ghana. Which year did you write your step one?
Which year? I wrote my step one in 2021. Can you imagine?
Okay. Wow.
I started studying.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's 2020. So that's step one. We're done with step one. Now I really understand it, and I really understand the step one. So if you don't know about the step, then now you also understand it, because I do understand it now. Now let's move to step two.
Yeah. So step 2A is so I should have said step one is more. It tests the things you learned first year to third year medical school. That's basic sciences. Step 2 is clinical knowledge. So for those of us who are done with medical school in Ghana, as you are working, it's quite helpful, because your clinical skills is close to the clinical knowledge you had. So that's why sometimes if you enter medical school now and you want to write USMLE, start studying now, because the basic sciences that you are studying, the biochemistry, the pathology, just kill it now, because I got down with medical school and now I had to learn biochemistry. Krebs cycle, you learn, you forget, you learn, you forget, So moving on to
The
step 2.
sodium
That's the
channels,
clinical.
potassium channels, sodium, potassium, ATPase.
Don't think about we are not using it in clinical practice. Oh God.
Yes.
Anyway, so step 2, CK, that's your clinical knowledge. And you buy the question bank. And step 2 clinical knowledge is the question bank that you really would need. It's about 4,000 questions, And once again, I would say if you can buy 1 year, unless you can grind the 4,000 questions in 6 months. Sometimes you can't. It's very ambitious, but some people have done it. If you can, why not? I initially bought the 6 months, and then life happened, and I didn't finish, and then the time ran out. When I had to renew, so I bought it for like $400. When I had to renew, I had to pay like an extra 300 and something dollars. I was so annoyed because if I had just bought the 1 year just for the sake of giving allowance, I would have saved more money. But I had to pay through my tooth, So anytime I tell people that buy them, that's my mistake. I don't know about if you want to, you can do that. And for revision, some use master the boards to help with the step 2. Or if maybe your basics, your basic sciences or your foundation from step 1 wasn't too strong, and you want to like firm up your foundation, you can reread first aid. It all depends on you. Then you take your practice course. See, believe in the practice course. I know that in Ghana we believe in miracles and all that. I'm a Christian. I believe God does things, honestly. However, with the USMLE, your practice scores actually are almost always a reflection of what you will get in the exam. If you are not, if you take your course and you are not getting, like maybe you are getting 2, so I think step 2, the pass mark is 214 or so, and you are getting around 214, but you go like, I said the living Jesus, you will turn my 214 to 270. I wish God did it for me like that. So he didn't do it for me like that. So I don't know about you, but if he does it for you, that's exciting. But if your practice scores are giving you good scores, it correlates. They've done studies and it really correlates with your value. And then you get your score. When you are done, you can either apply for the match and or write step 3. So you write step 2 in Ghana. And in Ghana, the exam is taken at Total House at around National Theatre in Accra. Yeah, that's the writing center. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's the
wow. At least it's good that you can write it in Ghana. Because some of the exams, like the NCLEX, they don't even have a center in Ghana. They have to go to South Africa and India to write it.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's very true.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. And I don't know if I missed the cost for the step 2. Did you say the cost? How much is the step 2?
Okay, so yeah, the step 2 is also 1,002. If you write it in Ghana, it's 1,002. Outside the US, it's 1,002. In the US, it's 1,000. It's $1,000.
Okay.
Including your UL also, depending on which you buy. And the 1 year UL is 559. The 6 months UL is 479. So the difference. Just look at it's less than 100. So, and then you can buy the NBMEs. One NBME as of now, I think it's $60 for a practice test. But it's good to know how you are faring before, rather than going into the exam blind. Yep.
Wow. If you are enjoying this and you're getting so much value, you know how we do it when we go on live. All I want to see is green ticks. We usually use a lot of green ticks to see if you are getting a lot of value. Because like if I was a medical practitioner right now, like this will be a lot of the detailed information that I actually need. When we are done, I'm really going to plead with Sylvia to just, I'm sure she has it written somewhere already, to just share it with me, and I'm going to put it in the description box so it's easier for you guys to follow, so that sometimes even if you've not started the journey, it just gives you an idea if you have the overview. Like fortunately, of late, I have come to terms with that fact that I need an overview of whatever it is I'm going to do, even before I take a leap of faith. We always take a leap of faith, but at least if you have that broad picture, you know that I'm going to do this. When I'm done, I'll do this. When I'm done, I'll do this. At this stage, I'm going to pay this. So let me save this. Let me live my life this way so that I can get the money to do that and do that and do that and do that. So guys, Green takes, green takes, green takes. And don't forget your questions. Just leave them in the comment section below, okay? Now let's move on. So you are done with the step 2A. That's what you said, right? That one you write in Ghana, we write it in Total House. We buy all our exam material and all that, and then we come here. Okay. Now I think you mentioned something like you said you can match. You can start the matching even after your step 2A.
So I would shed some light on that. So after the
Okay.
whole exam is to allow you to enter what we call the matching process or the ERAS. That's the electronic residency application system. And so you can use step 1 and step 2 and apply for the match. Or you can also write step 3 to apply for the match. So the ERAS season, that's, I said, the electronic residency application system opens in June. So it's currently opening and people are applying. So to be able to be eligible to apply for that, you need to have your ECFMG certification, I believe, yes. And to get that, you need to have your OET.
We don't know. What is ECFMG? We don't.
I just mentioned it. I'm coming. I'll remember it. But it's an education commission for foreign medical practices. And so with that, you write your OET exam. The OET is the occupational English test that I said. It's around, I think it's $455. It initially wasn't written in Ghana, so some people had to go to Dubai, but it's written in Total House now. And MDC, Medical and Dental Council, have to send a letter of good standing to ECFMG, and then they also charge for that, of course. And then you get your certification. So that pathway, the price is $925. And so
for
after
the
you get that
ECFMG
certification, it's not easy, my sister. That's like $925, and then
it's not easy. It's not easy.
Buy the ERAS token, so the electronic residency application. You buy a token of $165 to be able to access the system and apply to programs. So you put in your CV and you write your personal statement, and then you apply for the match. But some people want to increase their chances of matching, or also want to have cleared all the examination. And there's also the part of the type of visa you want. There's the J visa, there's an H visa. Some people want an H visa. If you want the H visa, you need to have written your step 3 before December or before February. There's something about it. And so you write the step 3. But the step 3 is only written in the US. That's the thing about it. And it's the cheapest, actually. I think it's like $925. But you write it in the US, and it's a 2-day exam. That's the thing about step 2. It's a 2-day exam. And then it's also about it's step 1. Step 3 is a 2-day exam. You write, it's all about step 1 and step 2. Then the second day has some simulated clinical cases you do on a computer. And that's step 3. One thing you should know is step 1 is an 8-hour exam. Step 2 is a 9-hour exam. Step 3 is I think 7 and 9-hour exams. So, yeah.
Wow. So that's amazing. That's very comprehensive, and that's really detailed information. So right now, you were talking about if you want an H visa, J visa, that means that if somebody wants to come to the US to come and write a step 3, they need to use their B1, B2 to come and write, like their visitor's visa to come and write. And now reapply after they've matched for an H1B visa. It's H1B, right?
Yeah.
I think it's H1B.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that means that if you match after step 2, if you try, get into the system and match after step 2, what visa are you coming on then? I'm very curious. Like of late,
It's automatically J. It's automatically.
Oh, that's automatically a J visa. Okay. So that means probably after they write a step 3, they can transition them into an H1B visa.
No, they remain on
So
J
they'll
till
stay
they are
on the
done.
J visa throughout when they are.
Exactly.
Hey, me I'm in page you. Any come in page me page one.
You see that?
I see it. I don't want J. I want H1B. Right. So if you want to know the difference between the J visa and the H1B visa, just let me know in the comment section below. I can do a whole different video about it. And you know the reason why we want the H1B visa over the
Exactly.
J. Yeah. Okay. So that's amazing. So I just want to ask, just in case somebody matches with the just in case somebody matches after writing the step 2A and comes and needs to write the step 3, when they come, they really have to write the step 3 before they can start their residency, or they can write it while they are practicing, or how does it work? I was just thinking
How
about it.
you just need to have done it before you finish residency. Or I think there's some programs give you deadline by second year or so you should have written it. So it's all up to you. It's
Okay.
all up to
All
you.
right. Okay. All right. So that's very good knowledge. And it's as much as I used to hear step 1, step 2, step 3, guys, it's detailed. It's tougher than I thought it was. Honestly. I thought we were just taking a bunch of exams, and I'm like, these people, their pathway is so easy. They just sit and take exam. Guys, it's very, very, it involves a lot. I'm so proud of you. You've done so well. I'm so
Thank
proud of you.
you so
Wow. Okay.
much.
So then take us through the whole matching system. Okay. How does it start? I know you've told us about a portal where you have to put all your things, and tell us about your personal experience. Now, okay, even before we get there, the whole exam process, step 1, step 2, step 3, apart from the materials you are going to buy, sit, learn, I know you are somebody who is like more like a motivator, more like, maybe as we are saying it now, people are scared, they don't want to even take it. Like, talk to us about it, encourage us, motivate us, give us vim. Tell us something about your experience. What did you do right?
Okay.
What would you have done differently if you were starting? What should my subscribers do? What should my people do? Tell us about it.
I'll start with I'll tell you my personal journey. Before I made the decision to write, you are speaking with people, you are not sure who to speak with. So the first thing I would say is have a mentor. Good mentorship is what brought me where I got, where I've gotten to. And then also, I believe in God, so pray. And what gave me the sure banker that this is the journey that I needed to make was I had an uncle who came to Ghana. When people come from the US, they bring you things like clothes, you want to shut that. He brought me a flash drive, a pen drive, and it was only USMLE materials. We hadn't even talked about USMLE before. And he goes like, have you looked at the pen drive I gave you? I say, yeah. He says, open this folder. I opened it later and it was US Melody. So I told him that I'm reading this, I'm reading that. So when he directed me to that folder, it was just USMLE. I felt that was my answer. That was the answer I needed. And that was about the universe conspiring to help me. I didn't have the money and all that. But one thing I would advise people is if you want to take the journey, start saving your money in dollars. Like the money you are putting aside for it, start saving it in dollars because the city is depreciating. And that's how I was able to pay for some of the things. When my salary comes, I put some in dollars, I put some in cedis. The exam was hard. The exam is hard and will continue to be hard. See, when I got down with step 1, in the morning when I was going, I told my mom to drop me because I didn't think I could drive. During the exam, after my first or second block, so there are breaks in it, I knew that I was failing. It's not somebody who will tell you that you are failing. The questions are coming like, I just don't know this. I went to the bathroom and I'm like, God, I beg. Like, I cannot fail. Like, I know, like, you are a good God. I worship, See, I took
That's
a
why I start making
break.
big promises to God.
I took a break because I needed help. And afterwards, when I got down with the exam, from Total House to Roman Ridge, I cried the whole Uber journey because I knew I was failing. And even during my study time, there were times I didn't think it was worth it anymore. And I was one of my mentors, Albert. I'll text Albert, I'm getting like 30 something percent too. And you're born, I'm a born, And Albert will say, Sylvia, that's how we all started. And I wasn't like the brightest in medical school. Those who know where the old people, where our results were, there were the likes of some. Oh, I don't want to mention that. The one is online. I don't know if I changed her surname. Some people was giving me pressure. On the line.
It's on the line. Elizabeth Oponchecheku.
That was said to dip it with some good or pass. Meanwhile, they were in their credit. So the point is the whole USMLE. I remember the first advice I got was it's about consistency. So it's not really like you are a bright student, excellent, but it's your consistency. But then shout out to Elizabeth and Osade. They put some of us on our tools, and
they do. We needed them in our lives.
Yes. And one thing was I did not do locum. I started studying between first year house job and then that whole period between MOship. And I didn't do any locum. Like I dedicated that, and with the USMLE, there are sacrifices you need to make. What I did wrongly was not gather all my learning materials from the beginning. And so I'm giving you the learning materials now, like gather them now and run with them. And then try not to listen to too many cooks because they spoil the soup. Get a mentor and let the mentor run you through. And so that was my step one. I thought I would fail. I passed. Step two, I had moved to the US. So I moved to the US.
God did it.
I'm telling you, he did it. Step two was also another ball game. See, I had migraines consistently before I reached step two. And sometimes God sends people to fight your battle. So my husband was the one who lost weight during step two. You have not regained that weight since you lost. Like that was how stressed all of us were. So the exam in itself is stress. I would say that apart from the medical knowledge, the exam test, it tests your resilience, it tests your courage, it tests your fortitude. Like it tests so many aspects of you, just not medical knowledge, because you need the courage to decide that I've studied enough and I'm writing. Because I know people who have been studying like 1 year, 2 years, and they are scared to take it. We've all been scared. I remember there's a friend of mine who recently wrote step one. She was going to cancel. She had made us like, Sylvia, I'm canceling. I'm not going to. I said, you can do it. It's like, Sylvia, you have no idea. The reason why she couldn't cancel was to cancel. I think she had to, reschedule. She had to pay an amount of money. She was broke at that time. I said, Lord, thank you for poverty. It takes a lot of courage. So once you get the courage to write it, you've done something. You have no idea. Like, give yourself that credit for the courage that you did to schedule the exam. And then run with that courage, run with the faith, run with your practice scores, and run with the knowledge that you've gathered. And then with step three, I had enough. Like, I was tired. So for step three, I didn't even take any practice score. I said, if I perish, I perish. But the funny,
wow.
Step on the curve, step one was my best score. Like, I was so done, but it just tells you that you get better. You understand the system better, So that's my journey. Like, it's been and those who know me from medical school, know that I wasn't like the distinction student. So if I can do it, like, I believe that anybody can do it. Like, that's how much I believe that if you put your mind to it, you can,
I told you guys that she's full of motivation. If you listen to her, after you finish listening to this, you go and look for material and you start writing right now. Like, you feel like you're ready. But thank you so much. I think that's how a lot of these things work. Even with the general study abroad thing that I do, like, everything looks so big until you start, until you finish and you look back and you're like, oh my God, did I just do this? So we are motivating you guys. If this is your dream, I'm not saying everybody should go and write USMLE. Already, people have started tagging me for brain drain. But if this is your dream, please Just do it. Everybody has different dreams. When I finished medical school, my dream was different. Now, my dream is different. My dreams keep changing. So guys, if this is for you, when we are done, I'm going to gather all the, the names of the material and everything, and I'm going to write them in the description box below. This is the least I can do to support your dream. If you chance on this video, you never know. Maybe it's a signal from God telling you that, yes, whatever it is you're thinking about, this is your time to start. Now, thank you for telling us about that, your experience, the advice, and everything. Now, the next thing, the whole matching, because I know the matching is crazy. I happened to do my master's with one guy who was also doing the whole matching thing. And literally, I had become his, I volunteered though. It was not like he put it on me. Like, I was the one who take him through the interviews. He'll call me. Oh, I have an interview. I'm like, okay. We'll schedule a time. I'll be asking him the questions, So I saw a little part of that stress. He'll be so nervous. So tell us about the whole matching, because I know after you write the exam, writing the exam is one skill altogether. Writing your personal statements and all those things is also another whole skill together. And then the whole matching is also another skill altogether. Just take us through the matching.
Okay, so the whole matching starts with the ERAS application, that's the electronic residency application system. And you get your token, you get into it, you fill in your biometric data, that's your name, age, or that medical school. If you had you've done any masters or postgraduate training, you put it in there, any certifications, you keep filling it in, and then your CV. One thing I want to talk about with a CV is don't center it only in medical stuff. They want to know you holistically. Put your medical stuff there, put your hobbies there, put your volunteering. Like US volunteering is like, it is that for them. If you do YouTube, put it there. Like, put all the things you do, your cooking, just put it there and tell a story about that. That's for the CV. One thing I'll tell you that for instance, Richard knows I do what we call adulting series. And for the time that I was very consistent, so it was in my CV about how I felt like we're all going through adulting, we're clueless, and there was a space for adults to be adults or to be children, like to learn from each other. Every single interview I had, they were interested in knowing what adulting coach does, and that wasn't medicine. So find something unique about you. Not even it doesn't need to be grandiose. The little things. I volunteered for something we call college for kids. They asked about that. I was a Sunday school teacher where I was living. It was called over here we call it Youth Disciple. It was there, and they were excited about it. And the reach outs we've done in Ghana, outreach, sorry, we've done in Ghana, in medical school, outreach, put it there. Holistic application is what they are looking at now. So tell the whole you story. Don't leave anything. Don't just tell them you work house job here, embership here. We you're a doctor. So afterwards,
I'm nodding. Like my car break. Thank you.
Add the gist. If you were a blogger, add it. Some were excited that I blog, like at my personal blog, and then so that's that with your CV. So after you put them all in, it's the system generates a CV for you, and then that's that bit. Then your personal statement. Tell the you story. See, be vulnerable in your personal statement. Like, say everything. They've read personal statement for like 20, 30 years. Don't tell them, and since I was a child, it was my dream to. Everybody has said that. Like, try. It's not easy to write. Even me it's like, oh, it's okay, you can write. See, my draft, I started writing my personal statement in June. So the people I mentioned, like I've collected all of them, their personal statements. Someone is on like his fifth draft. The second one was cancelled. Like, because it takes time. You can't just wake up and say that today I'm writing my you edit it. I had personal statement 1, 2, 3, work in progress, 101, 102, 103. Before the final one went in, I had different reviewers and editors, so to look at them with different eyes, different microscopes, different professions, so that it can relate holistically to them. So that's that about our statement. You get your transcript. from your medical school because it will be uploaded. You get what we call MSP, Medical School Performance Evaluation. That will come from your dean. That would also be evaluated. Then letters of recommendation, about 4 or so. See, if your letter writer is going to write you a generic personal letter of recommendation, tell him or her that you want to write it yourself. Yeah, so that's what's up. It depends on what you think, but sometimes people write it, or their letter writers tell them to write it for them so that you can embellish it, but the story
But
needs to
sometimes they would have forgotten about you. So they've seen so many students. So that's why they just write generic ones and they just give it to you. So when
push.
you give them a draft, it highlights like, it jogs their memory to know.
Exactly. And so that's where the letters of start bagging them now, like in June, because by August, September, you are submitting. And so the season is open now till I think the first week in September is when you can begin submitting. Then
Oh.
this year on the 25th of September, that's when the programs can download your whole application and then they begin to review. So from that 25th of September, your heart rate will be like this, like this, like this. When your email does ping, you will open it. And that's when the interviews begin to come or not come, or the rejection. There will be more rejections than than interviews. And another thing is during this process, you begin to research on programs. So you look at the programs which you think is the best fit for you, the type of research they sponsor, where they are located, is the location good enough for you, the kind of training they give, is that what you want? The
Ah.
Yeah, so there are so many things you looking for
And you
when
need
you
to try and find some other residents for them to also tell you about the program, connect with them. Ish.
write to program directors, like cold emails. I'm interested in your program. So you decide the number of programs to apply to, but it's all money. I think your first 20 will cost like $23 per program or so. Then I think your next 30 or like up to 30 is like per 25 per program. Then after 30 or 40 is $27 per program. But I think this year they reviewed it. So imagine you're applying to 100, do the math. People spend about 2,000 in the match. That's why it's like some people spend even to be that. That's why it's match or suicide kind of thing. So
Yeah.
after they filter out based on scores, based on year of graduation. So how long ago did you finish medical school? Whether you have an MPH, whether you have research and things. So there are so many things that go into the application than just your scores, like your whole
Mm.
um personality, like they filter and then afterwards they send out interviews. So usually for a program with maybe 20 slots, or yeah, they send about 250 invites. So see, if you get an interview, treat it. Someone will say you need one interview too much. So treat every interview as like the only opportunity to match. And as international medical graduates, we don't have the number of interviews the American medical graduates will get. For the statistics from the National Residency Match Program, you need, I think it's about 15 before you have a 99 percent of match. You know,
Wow.
if you have 3 interviews, your percentage of matching is about 66.6 or something. There's something
Ooh.
like the stats are there. But for IMGs, we almost always have 3, 4, 5. But depending on your score, you get higher. And then some people have green cards, some green cards, or also Ghanaians who are citizens, they will get more interviews than you. And so treat each interview as your opportunity. Do mock interview. See, I had a whole interview team. Today I'm jumping from one mock interview to another mock interview. Someone will say, oh, but Sylvia, you already know how to do. There's a way they want you to answer their questions. And there's a way you need to sell yourself. You can't be
Mm.
the African Ghanaian modest,
Mm.
please. I thank you. No, 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 no. Say, I have achieved. Sell yourself. because you use money and you have to match.
See, I don't even want to talk. When I say sell yourself, it's okay. Okay, let me keep
And
quiet.
then, so the interview season is usually between, so after the September till about early February. And then after you've done the interviews, you will rank the program. So you enter the match. That one you pay. I think it's about $80 for the match. See, every step along the line, there's some dollar that will go.
Wow.
Yeah, and so you enter the match and you rank the programs you interviewed in. And I think the deadline is usually mid-February to submit your rank list. And programs will also rank their candidates. So it's not just you alone ranking. So you are ranking them. So if you, let's say, interviewed at one, you just had one interview, you have to pray that out of the 20 that the residency program would rank, out of maybe there are 250 people they rank, you will be in a comfortable
First,
position, yeah, first 20 side that you are ranked to match. So you can be ranked, but you may not be ranked to match. You understand? And the whole ranking algorithm is a case study, so you can just watch it on YouTube. There are good YouTube videos on how to. And then eventually on the third Monday of March, you know that open your
mm.
email and there's like, I am matched. Then on Friday, you go like, I matched at. So that's the whole match process.
Wow, wow. That's intense.
It is. You would have palpitations for like 3, 4 months straight up.
That's intense. But tell us, eventually, after everything, emotional, financial, everything, is it worth it?
Well, I just started residency. So like, by the time you finish matching, if you look at your bank account, I'll be asking the same question. Like currently my question is, wow, is it with, but then your salary or it's a stipend or your allowance as a resident is not much. It's just enough for you to live comfortably. But then you need to always remember the reason why you decided to do it. Otherwise, because this is
You'll
my
be
first trip,
discouraged.
you need, because I remember I was seeing a patient and the system is a little different. Like, God, who sent person, But if you don't keep reminding yourself why you
The
decided,
reason.
yeah, you would think it's not worth it. But eventually, hopefully, when we become attendants and then the bank alert becomes,
Heavier. And
but
we'll get there. We'll come and charge you. We'll collect money from you.
and then also, the joy of achieving your dreams and all that. For me, after I merged, it was all gratitude. Like when I opened my email, so I went for mass. I'm Catholic, so I went for mass that morning, and afterwards I went to the adoration chapel. So I was just praying till 8 o'clock. It was 10 a.m. Eastern time, but where I was, it was my 8 a.m. Apparently, the email came like 7:58, and after around 8:03, I opened my email, and then I saw that congratulations, you matched. I wept like
Oh,
a baby, like God, you know, you believe you match, but then that feeling is overwhelming. You know,
mm.
I almost cried. See, it was like so many years of studies, like finally, God, like finally, And so at that moment, there's a lot of peace, there's a lot of joy. And afterward, there's a flurry of paperwork and things, and you start work. So yeah, that's
Yeah, that's amazing. I know exactly how it feels. I don't know exactly how you also feel, but I know how it feels to, fulfill something you've ever hoped for, and you are there, and then everything. But I know life happens. You have a husband. You're married. How did you balance the preparation for the USMLE with life? Like, some people want to do it, but because they have kids, they have family, like it's so hard, they're not finding the time to do anything. Well, how did you do it, and what would you tell them?
See, one thing I would say is when run with a dream, when you make up your mind, begin to run with a dream. That's point number one. and get help, especially with those with kids. I know people, like I'm working with some people who have kids. It's amazing if you have an understanding partner and a helping partner. It helps, like, at least. But you need to really plan the time. Let me give you, like, so I said I was studying during the time post house job. So I was at home, and that was cool. But even that, everybody knows that you are at home. So when do this for me, Koji mom, then my mom will come, scholastica, one could see in. But today she's like, hey, member, or your resident, see the same people who say crucify you. Hey, man, they say ones who said Hosanna. So know the dream, run with it, and you need to really apportion time. When I was working at Kolebu, I wake up like 4 a.m. to study till 6. Then 6, I start getting ready to leave the house at 6:45. When I close work, I go straight to the Kolebu library, steady for a bit before that, and so that when the traffic builds up, we'll just die together in the traffic. Then when I go home, I have to chat with my parents and all that, and my husband. Then afterwards, I do some 1 hour. So I try to get like 5 hours every day. If you try to get that 5 hours consistent learning, you can do something. So if you look at the bigger picture of, and I'm doing.
What time were you going to bed?
Maybe 8, 10. I was an early sleeper.
Okay, that's why you could make the 4 a.m.
I am. You need, the whole point is knowing where you are sharpest. Since medical school, since
Mine to the morning, me too.
yes, I've always been a dawn person. I know someone currently that studies till like 1 a.m. because that works for the person. So me, I always needed my 6 hours of sleep. So just if I sleep at 10, I wake up at 4. It works that way for me. I do my 2 hours. When I'm driving to, I'm listening to audios. There's this guy, Divine Intervention podcast. I will listen to Divine, or I listen to some of the videos. So the time that maybe you used to listen to or listen to some music and you need to create time. And then there were some weddings I could not attend, some family parties I could not attend. There are some commitments you would have to. So if this weekend
You have to cut back on.
if this weekend I'm going for someone's party, during the week, I try to achieve the
Put in more hours.
So that the weekend, when I'm dancing at the party, I know that I merited it and all that. And that's with me trying to make time. Sometimes life happens, and you need to create breaks for yourself. If you don't create breaks for you, the body will shut down. The body will shut down. So all those who are studying like 7 hours a day, see, your body will take a break for like 2 weeks. You open the book and you can't study. And then if you have an understanding partner, that's awesome. But always let them appreciate the fact that they are allowing you to study. But if you don't have all of that, try and find help. See, not everybody is getting it the same way. Like
I know, but why won't you let me steady? Why you don't want me to shine? I beg. Anyway,
but the point is, the people that will say at church, I haven't seen you. I was a health committee chairperson at church. At a point, I delegated the work, so I was working for the background. Say you who are sorry, so I'll go for evening mass or like very early mass so that I will not stay and chat. By the end, everybody's happy. Oh, Dr. Sophia. See, those who say that, oh, they didn't see you in a while, eventually, when you march, they will hold the banner the loudest.
So, and they'll be reposting you and everything, not knowing everything.
I always tell my own story, like Scholastica. Shout out to Ajabawa.
I hope you get the shout out. So if you have any questions, guys, please don't forget to leave it in the comment section below. And Sandy, I see your question about the J visa. I'll have to do a whole video about the different types of visas so you could exactly understand what we are talking about. Elizabeth, I'm going to do that video as well. Thank you all. So we are going to go a little bit deeper into the discussion. So Sylvia, I just want to know, what are your long-term career goals now that you're established in the US?
Well, for now, I want to like get down with my 3-year residency. In terms of fellowship, I'm not too sure. I'm still
Mm-hmm.
thinking about it, and as I've started, I'll just get the pause with which one works for me. If not, I may just work as a hospitalist because I really enjoy inpatient medicine. So that's for
Okay.
medicine. That's where I am.
Okay. So, and how do you envision like contributing to the healthcare system, both in USA and potentially in Ghana? Because me, like, even though I'm here physically, like my mind, everything is in Ghana. Like, if something is happening in Ghana, then I'm mad, even though I'm not there. Like,
Yeah.
I can't say some also say, oh, and you're from a bit tenacity, that kind of thing. So, how do you see it? How do you envision your contribution to the healthcare system?
The whole goal is to help like at home or contribute what we've learned because in terms of medical students, when we're in school we had lots of lecturers who are trained out and they out of that they brought a different dimension to our training. And so
Mm,
in I love to teach. So if I get the opportunity, hopefully I go back. If it's not even in a teaching hospital, at least we still have students and house officers rotating in different hospitals all the time. We can instill with them the technology we've learned. And there are times you can always liaise with hospitals here to send equipment and things so that we can also like get far or get to
they'll
some.
tell you to come and pay the duty at the port.
I heard of. Can you
I was
imagine?
so mad. Like when I saw the medication one, I was running mad. I'm like,
Hopefully, maybe by that time, some people are
yeah,
people.
we have
Yes,
better leaders who are thinking about our healthcare system.
yeah, and so that's hopefully that's where I hope to be. And with the US, I still studying, working, trying to get into place where you can get policies that we can advocate for our patients, because we are the ones who deal directly with them. And so if we can advocate for them, advocate for better policies to be able to help them, especially with the preventative side of medicine. And thinking about Ghana, we do a lot of treatment, but here they are more about preventative. So if we can help incorporate the preventative medicine in our training and in our practice in Ghana, so that all our medical students, all our upcoming doctors would have that in mind and have
Mm,
a so it's like more preventative, like we push for preventative medicine at
mm.
policy level. That would be really helpful. That's like some of the things that I think about in like going forward.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's so amazing, and I just want to ask, like, what's the difference? And I know that there'll be a difference between practicing in Ghana and practicing here. Even though you started, it's not been long. How are you adapting? How different is it? Like, I'm very curious. I know it's going to be different. You're going to see, like, the hospitals here when you even enter the big machines, everything. You can even get lost in your hospital like so many times and everything. Yeah, but tell us, how are you adapting, and what's the difference like, and how are you adapting?
Okay, for me, I think my experience is quite unique because when I came last year, I got to do some like rotations here where I was staying for
Oh,
about 5 months.
nice.
And so
In
it
a
gave me,
hospital?
pardon?
In a hospital, you're rotating in a hospital
Yes.
voluntarily. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. And so it made me so my adjusting into this hospital has been at least it's been a bit staggered. Even that is not without challenges. Point number one.
Mm,
So but at least I got to understand that with here, the decision making between the doctor and the patient is a shared decision making. In
mm,
Ghana, you can scare small. Why not? By here, casually, what do you think? But Ghana, sometimes, even when you tell the patient defers to you, the doctor, and so that's one of the things that I've learned. And there are a lot of things that are not done only by the doctor. So, like when you have a patient come in, we have there's the call desk that calls like the medical assistants call to make sure the patient will come. They are what we call they have many services like social workers. Like there are so many levels where people are helping. I remember I had a patient that I checked in my basket. There was an email or a message from a pharmacist who has seen the patient. They made some changes I wouldn't have thought about, sometimes the pharmacologist or the doctor, the microbiologist or the doctor, but here you have sometimes the pharmacist has written a reason why maybe we should change to this. I was like, okay, that's good. So,
Makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can learn from each other and all that. So those are a few differences. Because it's recently that we had PharmD doctors on the ward, so their impact is still like they are gradually feeling their impact fully. But here, it's like it's been solidly done, and
Yeah.
when you there honestly the integration is difficult. Even me that I said I had a staggered approach. One of the
Mm.
days I'm like, hey God, who said like, their computerized system is different. So that's
Mm-hmm.
everybody tells you struggle, whether it's the Epic system or it's the Senna system. You would start and then see any this is what I want to tell you. If you can learn how to type, Mavis Beacon kind of typing, it's a valuable skill, that
Mm.
would cut down your
Your
non-clinical
time.
your
Mm.
time. Now you finish seeing a patient and you are looking for A where he, B where he, like where is A where but the Americans and people from the other country,
Yeah, just
see, so the time that we spend on Instagram meditation, use it just
let's
on
learn some typing skills.
learn some typing skills. It will help you. See, there's a dragon that you can use to talk. But our accent, the dragon, you write something, say something that the speech to Mike is writing something else, then now you have to clean. It's like that's not what I said. Then you go back to your A where him, B where him kind of typing. So I would say please. So that's been some of my struggles, like in my first week.
Yeah, yeah. So I think you've already shared some some tips with us, but we're just wrapping up this. And then if you haven't followed us, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed and like this video, share it as well. You never know who or which doctor is going to benefit from this. Okay. Now, what advice would you give to anybody who is trying this pathway, who is about to start this pathway, who has thought about this pathway, or who wants to embark on this journey? Your general advice, and then we are out. I'm so privileged that you've given me 1 hour of your time.
You're welcome. You're welcome. See, one thing I would say is I said it from the beginning. When you
Mm,
make the decision, when you decide to do it, run with it.
mm,
Run with the decision. Remember why you made the decision. Because there are so many people like, so I want to write, but I think, see, if you decided to do it, it's achievable. Make
mm.
steps. Start studying. Buy the UL. Let the money leave your account so that if nothing will motivate you, your money will motivate you. But so yeah, sometimes not always. Like sometimes you are unable to study. But my first advice, I would say, don't let it remain a thought. That's if you want to go. If you don't want to go, that's okay. When your friends are like, not everybody was meant to do the USMLE pathway.
Of
We have
course.
amazing specialists who train in Ghana and are doing amazing things. That's them. But if you want to do this, don't let it remain a thought. Take steps. And when you take the steps, get a good mentor. It's important. See, you will jump certain hurdles smoothly that people will now be finding with because your mentor has done it before and it's done. He or she has found the loopholes, or not loopholes, he has found the ways in the system on how to achieve it. So get a
Mm,
mentor, and when you are studying, take breaks and
mm,
run with it. Like just stick to the plan. Stick the
mm,
days that your lows will be lower than your highs. Just stick to it. Like that's the whole, because the whole journey will test your whole mental faculty. Like, but stick to it and get relieve stress, and hopefully you match. Don't let your year of graduation deter. There are things that should deter you and all, but if you want to do it, there are people with 10 years since they finished medical school and have matched. So if you think you can, like we are not going to talk about things, circumstances that are you failed maybe 2 3 times. Even that some people have stories. But whatever decision you make, if you decided to do it, run with it. And
Oh, if you've decided to do it, run with it. And that is what I am living here with. What are you living here with? And have you been motivated enough to start this journey? If you have this journey, or if you really, really want to do this journey. So Sylvia, it's been such a pleasure having you. And I hope my subscribers could also reach out to you to be mentors, and so that you can also mentor people just like the way you were mentored. So if you will, or if you give me the permission, I may leave your social media handles. And then she also has a YouTube channel. Please talk a little about your YouTube channel so that we can go and follow. And then
I don't have a YouTube channel
you
yet.
haven't started yet?
No,
Okay.
but you can go to my blog at enocrantima.wordpress.com. I write.
Okay.
But Instagram, see, I'm the West. I think it's enocrantima on Instagram or something, but I'm not too active there. In terms of mentoring, what I would say is for this year, I said I'm mentoring 5 people for the match. Unfortunately, I've reached my max for the 5 because I'm really doing CVs and personal statement. However, I can answer questions, but I can't really take you on to edit your CV and edit your personal statement. But if the person is for next year, like 2026 March, I may be able to take on the person, that kind of thing. So you can just send me a message on Instagram. I will reach out my details, and then we'll take it from there.
I'll put in the description box below. Okay, so guys, so her 2026 5 people's slot is open. Please take advantage of it, and then at least try and write your exams before you go for her to mentor you. Then at least she knows that you started the steps. You don't just go blank. But if you have any questions, like she said, questions, you can reach out to her. I'm going to also, after this live, I'm going to get the details from her. I'm going to put it in the description box below. Enocrantima.
Thank you
so much for coming. I'm so honored. Thank you so much, my subscribers and we really, really, really are grateful that you took. I know what it means for somebody to give you 1 hour 11 or 1 hour 20 minutes of their time in America, and a resident as such. We are really grateful. God bless you for coming.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. So guys, we've come to the end of this session. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had so much value from it. Don't forget to share it. And then if you haven't subscribed to this channel, this is all we do. We're empowering you for your, study abroad journey, your study abroad, your aims, all your big aims. Not to just come here and just stay here, but once you're here, learn things and, think about how you can impact in your countries as well. And then so that when we go back and we can put our countries in a better state than we left it. I have been your girl, and then I'll always be your girl, Dr. Rich Lab. See you next time. Bye.